Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises to the Heavenly Father, Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rachahakwadash. Double honors to the apostles, the bishops, and the elders at Great Millstone who rule well. Peace and salutations, as always, to the elect. And I wanted to do a response to this video uploaded by the elder brother Karatazah, GMS Vegas sit-downs, 144K. Subscribe and be edified. The title of the video is a response or there shall be no more C. IUIC's latest heresy. And he's doing this in response to a video uploaded by the elder Apostle Tahar, all right, dealing with this matter. And, pretty much in a nutshell, before we play the video, basically, as we know, this group has been subject to change on many, doctrines. This latest change or heresy is the fact that the heathen nations after the 1,000-year period will all be destroyed. Okay, so where is this coming from? We don't know. All right, but we believe this group has been compromised, and they are waxing worse, as the scriptures say. The evil seducers will wax worse and worse. All right, and again, as we'll show you, okay, just a few months ago, maybe about 3 months ago, well, 4 months ago, we are going to show you that the Bishop Nathaniel was just teaching that after the 1,000-year period, all right, Esau is going to come up out of the caves and lead a rebellion, all right, along with Gog and Magog, which is going to lead to, them trying to start a war, be able to go around the earth, teaching their lies, and then eventually that's when they're going to be destroyed. So it's all confusing, but we're going to deal with this doctrine, dealing with Revelation 21:1. As you can see, it says here, and I saw a new heaven and a new earth, for the first heaven and the first earth were passed away, and there was no more sea. All right, which we know in the scriptures, the sea is synonymous with people. Okay, but they're teaching that because this says no more sea, all right, that ultimately after the 1,000-year period, there will be no more heathen nations. All right, which makes no sense, because we're going to be priests, kings and priests. What is a priest? He administers the law. So if we, the Israelites, are going to be under the new covenant, in which we will no longer have to teach our own people, who exactly is going to be taught? See, that doesn't make any sense. All right, but let's listen to this brother's video and let you hear it out of the horse's mouth. All right, and then ultimately we'll just bring edification.
Bunch of drops. He said all of y'all combined is like one little drop of a bucket. You're nothing. You're zero. You understand that? Go to Isaiah chapter 40, because he says, thou hast said that they are nothing. Where is Ezra talking about? He's talking about his forefather Isaiah, because Isaiah lived before Ezra. Read that for me. Isaiah 40, 15.
Isaiah chapter 40 and verse 15.
Come on.
Behold, the nation are as a drop of a bucket.
This is why Ezra said, thou hast said. Where? In the book of Isaiah. Read again.
Behold, the nation are as a drop of a bucket.
Come on.
And are counted as a small dust of the balance.
Wait a minute. There go water again. Nations, seas, drop of a bucket. He keeps saying the nations are waters. The nations are seas. Come on.
Behold, he taketh up the isles of their very little thing.
Come on.
And Lebanon is not sufficient to burn.
Read.
Nor the beast thereof sufficient.
I like how he compared a drip from a bucket of water to the sea. But I see what he's doing. All right. And this is how they manipulate with the scriptures. All right. Let's continue to listen.
For a burnt offering.
Watch this.
All nations before him are as nothing.
What the Bible say?
All nations before him are as nothing.
Satan mad. He making the damn microphones peak. Read it again.
All nations before him are as nothing.
All nations before him are as nothing. Go ahead.
And they are counted to him less than nothing.
And not only are they nothing, They're less than nothing. Come on.
And vanity.
And they vanity. They vain. You're nothing. You're zero. I don't mind losing you. It don't matter to me. You can fall out the bucket. I ain't going back to pick you up. Because the Lord said, if you lose one sheep, you lead the 99 to go get that one sheep. That's talking about the lost sheep of the house of Israel. That ain't talking about the other nations. That's talking about if one of our people go off, we go and lead the 99 to go get that one because we care for every last one of God's sheep. But not the other nations. One drop of them, he's like, hell with that. It's a drop of a bucket. They're nothing. And that's beautiful to my ears. Go back, Revelation chapter 21, verse 1 again.
Now, y'all listen up. Listen to how he plays this, how he tries to break this down. This is horrible, man. Come on, Nate. Listen real quick.
Revelation 21, verse 1.
Yes, sir.
And I saw a new heaven and a new earth.
Come on.
For the first heaven and the first earth were passed away.
Read.
And there was no more sea.
And there was no more sea, no more nations. There will be, after we rule over them for 1,000 years, we're going to get into that in a minute. After we rule over them for 1,000 years, brothers and sisters, there will be no more. There will be no need. Once they build our kingdom, Revelation 21 kingdom, it's not made with the hands of man. It's made by the hands of the Lord. It's in the heavens. You understand?
So,
It's in the heavens. Very interesting. All right, because the order of the heavens is coming to the earth. All right, that is a fulfillment of the tabernacle of David. All right, which the tabernacle of God will be with men because he's going to give us those new bodies. All right, when we're beamed up into the heavens. All right, but as we read in Revelation 21, New Jerusalem will come down from heaven. All right, now as a matter of fact, before we get into that, let's play this. All right, and as we know, as the elder brother Mathathia, all right, pointed out here, GMS Feed the Flock, we know that this camp teaches that the heathen are going into captivity. All right, but now I'm guessing it's been changed to the fact that they're going to go into captivity, but only for 1,000 years. All right, and then after that, they're going to hell. All right, since they've been pushing this they've been real deep into the hell doctrine. All right, our own people, the 2/3, and then, ultimately the heathen, they'll all be in hell. And it'll just be the elect, ruling on the planet Earth. But when you deal with the word rule, all right, let's look up the word rule. Let's go to the etymology. All right, let's go to etymology. All right, let's just type in the word rule, because we are going to rule. Scriptures say we're going to rule forever. All right, well, rule means principle or maximum, all right, or maxim governing conduct formula, all right, which must be conform, rule, custom, religious order, because we're going to establish order on the planet Earth, all right, or rulership. Let's type in rulership. Right here, all right, control, government, dominion, all right, regulation, governing, all right, so forth. I mean, rulership, all right, magistrate or majesty, greatness, grandeur, exalted rank or character, imposing loftiness, which who's doing that right now is the biblical Edomites. All right, so let's play this as well. All right, this was just 4 months ago, and let's listen to Bishop Nathaniel, all right, talk about what's going to happen after the 1,000 years.
The earth shall reel to and fro like a drunkard.
When them bombs hit, when Christ hit, it says the earth shall reel to and fro like a drunken man. Go ahead.
And shall be removed like a cottage, and the transgression thereof shall be heavy upon it.
Come on.
And it shall fall and not rise again.
America shall fall and not rise again. This white man shall fall and not rise again. Go ahead.
And it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord shall punish the host of the high ones.
The host of the high ones is this white man. Go ahead.
That are on high.
Because they run the earth. Go ahead.
And the kings of the earth upon the earth.
And all his allies too. Come on.
And they shall be gathered together.
Oh, watch this part right here. Read it again.
And they shall be gathered together as prisoners.
As what?
As prisoners.
As prisoners. What's going to happen to the white man? They're going to be gathered together. Those that are left after the destruction shall be gathered together as prisoners. Go ahead.
Are gathered in the pit. And shall be shut up in the prison.
Oh, we're going to shut them up in prison. Go ahead.
And after many days shall they be visited.
Wait a minute. Then it says, and after many days shall they be visited. Go ahead. It's going to explain later on.
Then the moon shall be confounded, and the sun ashamed, when the Lord of hosts shall reign in Mount Zion.
So the sun and moon of the nations, their wisdom, their understanding, going to be confounded, not ours. Go ahead.
And in Jerusalem and before his ancients gloriously.
Now let's get some understanding of that. Let's go to Revelation 20. Revelation 20, and we're going to start at verse. Let me look at it first, Jerry. I want 7, but I might want to hear 4. Let me hear 4.
Revelation chapter 20 and verse 4.
I want y'all to listen good.
And
now this goes between Ezekiel 37 and 38. Go ahead.
And I saw thrones, and they...
Which, that's a complete lie. This is after Ezekiel 38, which is going to, pretty much Russia, Gog and Magog, all right, which we see that happening now, all right, preparing war against Babylon, against Israel first, and then Babylon's going to get involved. And ultimately, all of these nations, including, Russia, are going to shoot missiles on this place, all right? Even particular NATO and EU nations are going to shoot missiles on this place. He's saying that the Gog and Magog war is going to happen pretty much after the 1,000 years. Let's just keep listening.
And they sat upon them, and judgment was given unto them. And I saw the souls of them that were beheaded for the witness of Jesus.
I saw the souls of them that was beheaded for the witness of Jesus. Go ahead. That's the apostles in them. Go ahead.
And for the word of God, and which had not worshipped the beast nor his image.
Now that's the rest of us today. And which have not worshipped the beast, what?
Neither his image.
Or his image. That's the image of the beast. The white Jesus. Go ahead and all that.
And we know the image of the beast is more than white Jesus.
Pertains to that. Come on.
Neither had received his mark upon their forehead.
Nor believed in his policies. Go ahead.
Now the mark is his policies. Remember, it was an embargo. Remember, it was, worship on Sunday. Remember, it was, Christianity. Remember, it was all over the place. His monetary system, pledging allegiance to his military. Now it's just his policies. Well, what if he has a policy that you have to take a chip anyway?
Or in their hand.
And we didn't struggle with it. We didn't take part in it. Go ahead.
And they lived and reigned with Christ 1,000 years.
We lived and reigned with Christ 1,000 years. I'm going to say something now.
Now, I'm going to reload a video I did on the 1,000-year period. I think we did it as a class. If you've been watching, you should know. But, we got new listeners, so I'll reload that video we did. All right, the 1,000-year period is speaking of the first 1,000 years in the kingdom, because we have to set everything back in order. Okay, and that's not going to happen overnight. The Lord is going to allow the process of righteousness, establishing the law in the earth, to clean the earth up under the authority of Yahweh Shai, all right, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, and the kings that he established under him, the kingdom of kings and priests, a nation of kingdoms and priests, kings and priests, which starts with King David, the rest of the 12, the rest of the 144,000, okay, and then ultimately you have the large multitude that's going to be saved as well, all right. But for 1,000 years, all right, the kingdom of heaven is going to be established. This earth is completely out of order. The Lord's not going to snap his finger and allow and the earth be turned back to clean. He's going to allow the process of the laws being established in the earth, all right, take place. All right, the law is going to go forth of Jerusalem. So we're going to be returned back to the garden eastward in Eden, all right, which is the headquarters of the promised land, Jerusalem. All right, part inheritance amongst the 12 tribes, amongst the Holy Land. But the Holy Land itself has to be cleaned up. Okay, so we're gonna ultimately be administering, judging, all right, and setting up the kingdom. That's going to take one day, a period of 1,000 years. All right, for paradise to fully be set up. But let's listen to his understanding of it.
Beware of these dumb Israelite camps that say we lived and reigned with Christ during the dark ages. Was our people righteous during the Dark Ages?
Now, I don't. That's a shot at us, but we don't teach that we rule with Yahweh Shai in the Dark Ages. All right? When you read the book of Revelation, the 20th chapter, all right, it speaks of two 1,000-year periods. Okay? We ain't got to get it. All right? We'll reload the video on it for the new brothers and sisters. But when you read, all right, Revelation 20 and 1 through 3, that's speaking of the 1,000-year period of the Dark Ages. All right? And then you would need to jump to verse 7, because after the 1,000 years are expired, Satan shall be loosed out of his prison, speaking of the Renaissance period. All right, but when you read Revelation 20 and 4, that's speaking of the first 1,000 years of the kingdom. Okay, which ultimately is a stumbling block. The Lord had it written this way, all right, for a stumbling block. All right, these two 1,000-year periods are not speaking of the same thing. All right, Yahweh Shai is not going to be on earth during this first 1,000-year period, the Byzantine Empire, which we just did a video on that as well. All right, going to that 1,000-year period. All right, but we'll reload the videos, give an understanding on that. All right, but nobody's teaching that during the Dark Ages, during this 1,000-year period, the Byzantine Empire, that Yahweh Shai was ruling. Of course, we were going off. All right, but we go into that history because it's prophecy. Okay, yes, so-called blacks ruled, all right, in the Byzantine Empire for a period of 1,000 years. Some say 1,100, all right, but that's what that's talking about. All right, but when you read what he's reading, Revelation 20, all right, and 4, all right, through 6, that's speaking of, all right, the ultimately what is called the first resurrection. Okay, in which the second death has no power over, which the second death is nuclear destruction, fire. Let's keep listening.
Hell no, we was wicked as hell. So you mean to tell me Christ was sitting with us? We was reigning with him during the Dark Ages when we was worshiping Mary, worshiping idols? Are you crazy?
I don't know who teaches that, but I'm sure he's talking about us. But again, they like to lie and misrepresent what we teach, you know?
Huh? Read it again, that bottom part.
And they lived and reigned with Christ 1,000 years.
Verse 5.
The rest of the dead lived not again.
No, they came back as a baby, Yuri.
Lived not again.
He came back as a baby, Yuri.
Lived not again.
Until when?
Until the 1,000 years were finished.
Until the 1,000 years were finished. Y'all see that?
Now, if his explanation is that that's talking about Jake, which that's talking about the heathen being able to, you know, get some rest after that 1,000 years of hardcore captivity, doesn't it say they will live again after the 1,000 years? But you see, they do all of these effects, but he just cut himself. What does it mean that they're going to live again then? See if he breaks it down. Although that's not talking about that. That's speaking of the heathen nations, all right? After the 1,000-year period, Esau's going to be destroyed. I just did a video going into that. Reloaded a video. And then the rest of the heathen will be able to just return to their respective lands, all right, and just be ruled over and be subject to the laws. But he's saying, mocking us, saying that we're teaching you can come back as a newborn baby if you're wicked on this side. But then he ties it to after the 1,000 years, they shall live again. I mean, this is confusion, man.
Go ahead.
This is the first resurrection.
Now, just keep reading. Just keep reading.
Blessed and holy is he that has part in the first resurrection.
That's when Christ returns. We all want part of that first resurrection. Go ahead.
On such, the second death hath no power.
That's when Christ judges the whole planet, all generations, all souls, all spirits. Go ahead.
But they shall be priests of God.
Those of us that take part in the first resurrection shall be priests of God.
And of Christ.
And of Christ.
And shall reign with him 1,000 years.
How long are we going to reign with him?
1,000 years.
Come on.
And when the 1,000 years are expired.
Now this goes back to what we read in Isaiah 24. And when the 1,000 years are expired, go ahead.
Satan shall be loosed out of his prison.
Oh, wait a minute. Go back to Isaiah 24. I just want you to see it. Isaiah 24, the second to last verse.
And they shall be gathered together as prisoners are gathered in the pit, and shall be shut up in the prison. And after many days,
Many days is how long, brothers? 1,000 years?
shall they be visited.
Now let's go back to Revelation 20, verse 7.
And when the 1,000 years are expired, Satan shall be loosed out of his prison.
The white man that we lock up in the Caucasus Mountains again, we're going to let them loose. They're going to be loose after 1,000 years. Go ahead.
And shall go out to deceive the nations which are in the four quarters of the earth, Gog and Magog, to gather them together to battle, the number of whom is as the sand of the sea.
Now let me tell you something about verse 8. In verse 8, there's time in there. In order for Gog and Magog to gather together the nations against God's people, that takes time. It does not take a day. It does not take a year. Because not only do you got to gather nations, you also need what to come up against us? Weapons.
So after the 1,000 years of Yahushua ruling, they're going to come out of the caves, gather weapons, and come up against us. When we just heard this individual here, let's go back.
Listen to how he plays this, how he tries to break this down. This is horrible, man. Come on, Nate. Listen real quick.
Revelations 21 verse 1.
Yes, sir.
And I saw a new heaven and a new earth.
Come on.
For the first heaven and the first earth were passed away.
Read.
And there was no more sea.
And there was no more sea, no more nations. There will be, after we rule over them for 1,000 years, we're going to get into that in a minute. After we rule over them for 1,000 years, brothers and sisters, there will be no more. There will be no need. Once they build our kingdom, Revelation 21 kingdom, it's not made with the hands of man. It's made by the hands of the Lord. It's in the heavens. You understand?
So you see the blatant contradiction.
Because remember, when we rule, if y'all remember, in Isaiah 2, what did we do? Nation learned what? War no more. We made them beat their swords into plowshares. So for 1,000 years, there's no war on the earth. Now we loose this white man. Gog and Magog go out to gather together the nations.
Yo, come on, bro.
Time is in there. And it does not say how long it takes. Read verse 8 again.
Goodness.
It shall go out to deceive the nations which are in the four quarters of the earth.
Yo, this is terrible, man. And you know who's not going to do a video on this? Sakari, Deacon. They're not going to get on a video in destruction mode and correct this. They're bigging the IUIC up. This is cool to them. They're promoting you all that this is good. You know, Jesus Christ, this confusion that we're listening to here.
Gog and Magog, to gather them together to battle, the number of whom is as the sand of the sea.
Read.
And they went up on the breadth of the earth.
And what they do?
And compassed the camp of the saints about.
So remember.
And this is a Jehovah's Witness doctrine as well. All right, we'll show you that in another video.
Isaiah 2 again. The mountain of the Lord shall be exalted above all mountains and all hills. You got to look up at it. So they're going to say, you know what? We can defeat them. They got to get all the nations in agreement with that thing first.
Just remember that he's talking about after the 1,000 years.
So read it again.
And they went up on the breadth of the earth and compassed the camp of the saints about and the beloved city. And fire came down from God out of heaven and devoured them.
And devoured them. Go ahead.
And the devil that deceived them was cast into the lake of fire and brimstone, where the beast and the false prophet are.
So where America and the 7 heads and 10 horns and the church system are already at. So let's let you know time has gone by. Let's go back to Ezekiel 38 now. So I'm going to say something else. Don't let black Hebrew Israelites fool you into saying Ezekiel 38 is today. These black Hebrew Israelites get that dumb doctrine from Christians. Christians will read it.
Well, as we're going to show you, he gets his doctrine from the Jehovah's Witness. He's teaching the Jehovah's Witness doctrine that after the 1,000 years of the Most High Son reigning on earth, there's going to be war. But we see the clear contradiction. There's no no need to go, into it, any deeper. You heard the contradiction. All right, let's deal with this in Revelation, the 21st chapter. All right, it says new heaven and a new earth. All right, which the new heaven, all right, and the new earth is going to be the kingdom of heaven. All right, Revelation 21:1, and I saw a new heaven and a new earth, a new rulership. All right, because whose heaven is this? All right, this heaven belongs to Esau, Edom. All right, as a matter of fact, we've always break this down. We've been bringing this out a lot lately. That when you get this in the book of Isaiah, all right, the 14th chapter and 13 verse, it says, in the 12th verse, it says, how art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which did weaken the nations? And we always go into, this word heaven, though Shemayim does mean the heavens or the waters, okay, the atmosphere, all right, it could also mean to be lofty, see, to be lofty, see, and ultimately, okay, the biblical Edomites, all right, are the lofty ones, all right. As a matter of fact, in one of the precepts they brought out, Isaiah the 24th chapter, okay, Isaiah 24:21, and it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord shall punish the host of the high ones that are on high, and the kings of the earth upon the earth, and they shall be gathered together as prisoners are gathered in the pit, and they shall be shut up in the prison, and after many days they shall be visited. Okay, so pretty much, okay, that's speaking of what? Lucifer, the biblical Edomites, the rulers, the elites. Okay, they are the hosts of the high ones that are on high. Okay, and them falling from heaven is synonymous with them losing their rulership, just like we always bring out in Lamentations, the 2nd chapter. Okay, Lamentations 2:1. How hath the Lord covered the daughter of Zion with the cloud in his anger, and have cast down from heaven unto the earth the beauty of Israel, and remembered not in his footstool in the day of his anger. His footstool is our enemies. So he allowed them to rule over us, starting with the Assyrians, the Babylonians, after, all right, the split of King Solomon's, kingdom, which he forwarded the throne of David for 40 years. After so many kings just kept doing wickedness, at the time of King Hezekiah, we went into, the Assyrian captivity. All right. Although Hezekiah was a righteous king, all right, we pay for what our forefathers did. See, so we started to go into captivity, but it's synonymous with us being cast down from heaven. All right. Does that mean we were kicked out of heaven? No. Okay. So the new heaven and the new earth that's going to be established, all right, is the kingdom of heaven after Esau's kingdom is taken down. As a matter of fact, this is Sirach, the 10th chapter and the 8th verse. Because of unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches got by deceit, the kingdom shall be translated from one people to another. 2nd Esdras 6:9. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. Okay, this is the explanation of what this means. And I saw a new heaven and a new earth, for the first heaven, the first rulership, the first lofty one, because both Esau and Jacob received blessings. Esau's blessing played out first. All right, so the first heaven, all right, it says, though Amalek was the first of the nations, they were the first to attack us when we left out of Egypt. All right, and under their blessing, it's the biblical Amalekites, all right, the small hats that are at the forefront of the loftiness they have, the rulership they have. All right, so the first heaven and the first earth were passed away, and there was no more sea. Now they're saying this no more sea means that ultimately the nations are going to be done away with. First of all, this is Ecclesiastes 4:16. There is no end of all the people, all right, even of all that have been before them. They also that come after shall not rejoice in him. Surely this is also vanity and the vexation of the spirit, because they're going to be catching hell. But ultimately, there is no end of all the people. So the Lord is not going to just destroy all of the nations. The only nation that's going to be destroyed, according to biblical prophecy, is the biblical Edomites. Okay? The rest of the nations are going to continuously be on the planet Earth and be subject, all right, to the Israelites, man. And we're going to show you that. So, and I saw a new heaven and a new earth, for the first heaven and the first earth were passed away, and there was no more sea. All right. And as the scriptures say, this is First Corinthians 7:31. And they that use this world and not abusing it, for the fashion of this world passeth away. That's ultimately this energy, the vibration. That's going to be all done away with. All right. 2 Peter 3. All right. All right. 2 Peter 3 and 10. All right. A new heaven and earth. But the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night, in which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. The earth also and the works therein shall be burned up. So that fire is coming to the earth. But the works therein, see, the works therein, the fashion of this world are going to be passed away. The fashion of this heaven, this rulership is all going to be passed away. And there's going to be no more sea in the sense of the energy, the vibration of these people, because the sea is synonymous with people. Okay. Let's get Revelation 17 to get an example of that. Okay. But we know, according to prophecy, the heathen are going to be here. All right. That's our inheritance. That's Yahweh's inheritance that he's going to share with us. Revelation, all right, 17 and 15. And he said unto me, the waters which thou sawest, where the horse sitteth, are people and multitudes, all right, and nations and tongues. So the sea, the waters could be likened unto people. Okay. And I, John, saw the holy city, New Jerusalem, coming down from the Most High out of heaven, prepared as a bride for her husband. All right. And this is the elect. Okay. Coming down from the chariot. All right. To come on the earth and gather these heathen up, starting with the elite of Esau, Edom, out of those bunkers, and put them into captivity. All right. Point blank, period. Okay. So the heathen are going to be here. All right. Because we have to teach them. As a matter of fact, let's get. All right. Let's get Psalms 2 real quick. Psalms, the 2nd chapter and the 8th verse. Psalms chapter 2 and 8. All right. Ask of me. All right. This is the Most High promising Yahweh this. Ask of me, and I will give thee the heathen for thine inheritance, and the uttermost parts, all right, of the earth for thy possession. Thou shalt break them with the rod of iron, that shall dash them to pieces like a pot of silver. Be wise now, therefore, O ye kings, be instructed, ye judges of the earth, because we're going to rule with him, pursuant to Revelation, the 2nd chapter, and the 26th verse. And he that overcometh and keepeth my works unto the end, to him will I give power over the nations, and he shall rule them with a rod of iron. As the vessels of a potter shall they be broken in shivers, even as I have received of my Father. So he's going to what? Share with us. We're going to be joint heirs with him in his rulership. Okay. And again, during this time, with that rod of iron, they're also going to be what? Okay. Isaiah 2 and 2. And it shall come to pass in the last days that the mountain of the Lord's house shall be established in the top of the mountains, and it shall be exalted above the hills, and all nations shall flow into it. See, all of the heathen are going to flow into it. Okay. Many people shall go, just like the nations now, they're flowing to Esau, his dollar, although they're tired of his ass. But in the kingdom of heaven, they're going to flow to the chosen people. All right. And again, in the kingdom, all right, we're going to be up under the blessings. All right. Which the blessing in Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter, right, 1 through 14. Okay. And it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe and to do all his commandments, which I command thee this day, that the Lord thy God will set thee on high above all nations on the earth. All right. So if they're gone at some point after the 1,000-year period, who are we going to be higher than? All right. We know there's going to be rank amongst the nation of Israel. You're going to have greatest and you're going to have least. But all of the nation of Israel are going to be under the new covenant. Okay. Pursuant to the book of Hebrews, the 8th chapter. All right. Hebrews, the 8th chapter. And the 10th verse, for this is the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel after those days, saith the Lord. I will put my laws into their mind and write them upon their hearts, and I will be to them a God, and they shall be unto me a people. And they shall not teach every man his neighbor and every man his brother, saying, know the Lord, for they shall all know me from least to the greatest. Okay, and when you deal with least to the greatest, okay, that's for rank purposes. All right, least, micros. Okay. Stature, length. All right. But the point is rank or influence. All right. Rank or influence, right? And when you go to greatest, okay. Megas, great. Okay. And number, persons, eminent for ability, virtue, authority, power. Okay. Things esteemed highly for their importance. All right, of great moment, of weight, importance, okay, excellence, all right, but predicated of rank. So there's going to be least in the kingdom and there's going to be greatest. But all of us are going to be under the new covenant in the sense that we're going to have the law, statutes, and commandments written. And so we're not going to have to teach any of our own people to turn back to the Lord anymore. Those days will be long gone. So in the kingdom of heaven, who are we going to teach? The scriptures say we're going to be a nation of kings and priests. What do a priest do? They administer the law. Okay. Isaiah 2:3, and many people shall go and say, come and let us go up to the mountain of the house of the Lord. All right. To the house of the God of Jacob, and he will teach us of his ways, and we will walk in his paths. For the law shall go forth. All right. So out of Zion shall go forth the law, and the word of the Lord from Jerusalem. Jerusalem means teaching of peace, and that's going to be fulfilled, all right, in Yahweh Shai and the 144,000, and then the rest of our people. You see, the large multitude as well are going to be redeemed, okay? So ultimately, the law is going to go forth of Jerusalem, the teaching of peace. We're going to what? Teach, all right, these nations how to live, all right? And that first 1,000-year period will be the starting point. All right. And we have a lesson going into it. All right. And I'll reload it. Lord willing, by the end of this, this week, Lord willing, by Sunday, I'll have it up. 'Cause we got to go to camp in just a minute. But, and he shall judge among the nations that shall rebuke many people, and they shall beat their swords into plowshares and their spears into pruning hooks. Nation shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they learn war anymore. But now Nate is telling you that they are. They're going to, after 1,000 years, leave out of those caves and learn, or gather up military might and start a war. Gog and Magog, which is complete madness, man. Okay, again, Proverbs. Let's get Proverbs 14 and 28. We're going to read this in the King James first, and then we'll read it in the NLT. Proverbs 14 and 8, in the multitude of the people was the king's honor, but in the want of people was the destruction of the prince. So if we don't have nobody to rule over, what sense is a dominion? What sense is a kingdom if the heathen are going to be gone? Okay? And all them dudes are going to do is get on video and just act proud like they didn't say what we just saw. But it is what it is, man. Again, they're teaching you first, and out of one breath, after a 1,000-year period, there's going to be a war started by Gog and Magog. All right. And the Esau is going to gather an army and a military to come up against us and try to fight against the Lord. That's going to be the fulfillment of Ezekiel, the 38th chapter. But then in another breath, they're telling you after the 1,000-year period, the nations won't be anymore. Won't be any need of them. Okay, then they're telling you the heathen are going to be in slavery in the kingdom. All right. NLT, a growing population is the king's glory. A prince without subjects has nothing. All right. So again, the greatest resource in the kingdom will be our servants. Just like in Esau's kingdom, the greatest resource was his slaves. All right, his ability, his rule over the slaves, man. Okay, let's get Zechariah 14 real quick. All right, Zechariah the 14th chapter in the 16th verse, and it shall come to pass that everyone that is left, okay, of all the nations which came against Jerusalem, because there's going to be a great destruction here in Babylon. Many people are going to die in war. All right, but there's still going to be heathen left. Okay. And again, the top of the heathen are going to be gathered out of those bunkers. Okay. Not just the Edomites. Those are the ones, the elites. All right. But there's heathen nations joined unto them. All right. And what does the scripture say? They're not going to repent. All right. For, their worship of idols, their thefts, their murders, and all their wickedness. Okay. So there's a payback coming. Okay, but along with that, all right, they're going to learn what is true, what is right. Every knee shall bow to the names of Yahweh, Yahweh Shah, and the holy people, right? And it shall come to pass that everyone that is left of all of the nations which came against Jerusalem shall even go up from year to year to worship the King, Yahweh, the Lord of hosts, all right, and keep the Feast of Tabernacles. So if they're no longer here, what will be the purpose of them, all right, keeping the laws? And it shall be that whoso will not come up of all of the families of the earth unto Jerusalem to worship the King, the Lord of hosts, even upon them shall be no rain. All right. So in one instance, they're telling you they're going to be in hell. One instance, they're telling you it's all over the place. But this is what we're reading here. All right. And if the family of Egypt go not up and come not that have no rain, this shall be the plague wherewith the Lord will smite the heathen that come not up to keep the Feast of Tabernacles. This shall be the punishment of Egypt and the punishment of all the nations that come not up to keep the Feast of Tabernacle. Okay. So again, the heathen will be in the kingdom. All right. And they will be subject to keeping the laws. The biblical Edomites, all right, after the 1,000-year period, which I just loaded a video on that, are going to be utterly destroyed. All right. But the rest of the heathen, all right, will, all right, remain. Okay. What's that? Daniel, the 7th chapter. They'll be on the earth as servants. They'll be our inheritance forever. All right. And we're going to pass down our inheritance, all right, to our children and their children and their children's children. They'll be our possession forever. That's even in the law. Okay. In the law, Leviticus 25 and around 40. Let's see here. 4, Leviticus 25 and 44. Both thy bondmen and thy bondmaids, which thou shalt have, shall be of the heathen that are round about you. Of them shall ye buy bondmen and bondmaids. Okay. Moreover, of the children of the strangers that do sojourn among you, of them shall ye buy, and of their families that are with you, which they shall begat in your land, and they shall be your possession. And ye shall take them as an inheritance for your children after you. All right. And then to inherit them for a possession, and they shall be your bondmen forever. But over your brethren, the children of Israel, ye shall not rule over another with vigor. And Solomon was an example of that. He put the heathen in captivity, put them to work, but he put his people on. Yahweh Shah is going to do this in an even greater fashion. So the heathen will be there. Okay. They won't be burning in hell. Okay, the Edomites, of course, they're going to be done away with. All right. But the rest of the heathen will be here. Okay. All right. This is Daniel 7 and 12. As concerning the rest of the beast, all of these different heathen nations that had their rule, they had their dominion taken away, yet their lives were prolonged for a season and a time. All right. Because they're not going to have eternal life. See? But their dominion's going to be taken away. You see? But Esau, all right, of all of the heathen, all right, will be the only nation that his seed is going to be utterly obliterated out of the earth. You see? And that's after the 1,000-year period. You see? But during the 1,000-year period, him and all of the heathen will be in a hardcore captivity, learning a very great, valuable lesson. They will learn the ways of righteousness. They will be taught that they were wrong. All right, it's going to take them some time to fully acknowledge it, but that's what the 1,000-year period is for. Okay? So these dudes are all over the place. I mean, there's so many more points we can make, but I'm going to end it because I got to get ready for camp. Watch this brother's video. And this brother has a good video as well, GMS Feed the Flock. And this is the Apostle Tahar's video. Let's pull it up. Which is no way to keep up with the Apostle Tahar, but
Show.
this is his video. The IUIC is waxing worse. They now teach that the nations will be no more. All right. And yet you're still going to have people coming and defending it, telling us we hating. All right. But anyway, that's that. All right. Hopefully I'll edify it on to the next. Shalom.